Hello and welcome to Reginaldesq. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Tier 8 Soviet medium premium tank, the T-54 first prototype, also known as a T-54 Mod 1. So is it any good? Yes, it seems to be a very good tank, and I say seems to be because I don't own it, but the nuclear strategist does, and he sent us a replay. What makes it good? Well, it has very good armor for a medium tank. In fact, if you're top tier, especially with this 3-5 matchmaking we currently have, you could pretty much drive it as a heavy tank, because even tier 7 heavies, if they're not firing premium, would have trouble penetrating this tank frontally. The aim time is very, very good, and the alpha damage is quite good for a tier 8 medium as well. So that's the good. What's bad about it? Probably the only negative I would say on this is the gun depression, which is 7 degrees out the front, which is not terrible. It's not good enough though in my book for it to be a hill fighter, and a lot of the tier 8 mediums do have 10 degrees of gun depression, so it does lack a little bit there, but that's probably the only negative feature I can think of. Let's have a look at the tank comparison now. So 41 tier 8 medium tanks in the game, 29 of them are premium tanks. So far more premiums. Tier 8 is the tier 4 premium tanks. What I've got here in the comparison though is I've got the T-54 Mod 1 on the left here, then I've got the Centurion 1 because it's a very good non-premium tank and I've driven it myself and so I know the tank. STA 1, I've only got that in there because it's a tank I've also owned and driven. I've put the other ones are all the next to a premiums. The Progetto is the new Italian one, so I thought I'd chuck that in because a lot of people probably got that recently. M4A1 because I have reviewed that recently and I've been up against it recently as well. It's a very interesting tank. And the T-44 because it is a non-premium Soviet tank, so it'd be interesting to compare it to. So let's have a look. And we can see that penetration-wise, 190 millimeters of pen is fairly low, but not as low as the T-44, which has 175. Although maybe this isn't up to date. That got updated recently, the T-44, didn't it? Anyway, alpha damage, 250. It's better than most, or a lot of tier 8s, which are mostly around the 230, 240. Most of them actually about 240, but it's way less than, of course, the M4A1 and the T-44 with 390 big alpha damage. The rate of fire of 7.5 is about average. These other two here have 8. The Progetto is 7.5, although it's got that multi-clip thing. The others have a much longer rate of fire, of course, because they have very much higher alpha damage. Shell velocity is slow at 895. Not as slow as the 800 on the T-44 though, which is pretty tragic, but it is much slower, for example, than a Centurion with 1000. The aim time of 2.2 is really, really good, or at least I thought it was fantastic until I saw the Progetto 46 with 2.1, which is amazingly good. But 2.2 is good. It's better than the Centurion and the STA 1, and of course much better than the T-44 with its big alpha gun. Dispersion, the gun seems reasonably accurate. I know the Centurion is very accurate. The STA was kind of average. The Progetto I don't know, but it seems to be accurate when I get hit by it. The other two I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's average accuracy. Sort of kind of thing where you don't want to be picking out weak spots at range, but at close range it's pretty good. As far as the gun dispersion goes, it does disperse pretty badly on moving and firing and all of that. Gun elevation of 17 degrees isn't fantastic, but it's much better than the 13 degrees on the STA-1. The gun depression of 7 degrees is, as you can see, not that good compared to most of the others, except for the T-44, which only has 5. So it has a lot of advantages over the standard Russian medium, the T-44, but it's a very different tank, especially as far as the gun goes. Also, the T-44 is much faster at 51. This thing's T-54 Mod 1, 44 degrees in forward, 18 in reverse. So it's not a super fast tank, mainly because it's very heavily armoured. Power to weight ratio, as you can see here though, seems pretty good, and the terrain resistances aren't too bad actually, so it does manoeuvre quite well. The turret traverse of 40 is pretty good, and the track traverse of 42 is quite good for a well armoured tank. The armour is really good, as we'll see in a minute. The track, where am I? The health of it is 1300, which is quite low. The same as the T-54, but lower than the other guys. And view range of 380 isn't very good. Same as the T-44. Russian tanks in general always have lower view range than all the other nations. Alright, so let's have a quick look at the actual armour. But just having a look at it here, you can see that the turret is not as good frontally as the Centurion, although it's got more side turret armour. But pretty much every other tank, it's got better turret armour. And the hull armour is the best out of all of these ones. 120, that's upper and lower plate 120. Far better than any of the others that we can see here. Let's now have a look at the armour. So as I said before, the upper and lower plate are both 120mm on this tank, which is pretty good for a medium tank. The side armour is 90mm as well, so this tank can side scrape quite effectively. As you can see here, we're getting ricochet all the way along the tank on this angle, and the lower plate's coming up, and let's get ourselves the same height as the gun here. So let's get this back to about a ricochet, 190, 200 and ricochet, so that's about right. Here we've got upper plate over 200mm required to penetrate it when it's like this, and the lower plate is also over 200mm, and the side over 200 or ricochet. So that's about your best angle for this tank, and you can see that you know, like an IS Tier 7 heavy with 175mm of pen, it's not getting through the front. It's not shooting this tank. It just can't pen it on this angle. But at your own tier, a lot of the other tier 8 mediums with 180, 190, 200 pen will struggle to penetrate you. Front on though, it's a bit of a different story. If you get the same height as the gun here, 180, so 190, that sort of thing, will usually pen. 180 pen, might not pen, that sort of thing. The turret itself, well, the red area you can see here is 200mm of armour at the front, and the side sort of cheeks here are 150mm, but of course they're very heavily sloped and basically an automatic ricochet. If you aim, I guess, around areas like this, you best aim to the centre. You're getting about 200mm. As you go up, of course, it gets to insane levels. The mantlet here is a bit patchy, so if we go up here, we've got basically like spaced armour. You've got 90mm over 200mm there, forget about that. Here we've got 160mm of spaced armour, but it's so well curved it's coming up as 221 effective. But if we aim in this sort of middle section here, the lighter purpley area, where it's kind of a bit sort of flatter, in line with the gun in other words, we're getting around about 200mm of effective armour. So the armour is 200mm there, and even up and down a little bit, still about 200mm, so you've got a bit of a flat section there. And if you only have the turret to shoot at, that's probably your best bet if you have 200 or more millimeters of penetration. Other than that, we do have a cupola, which is only 90mm, but it's pretty darn small from the front and from this side. From this side it's alright, but yeah. And this little cupola sticking up at the back here is not a target. You can't hit it. Excuse me while I get my phone. Sorry about that. Phone call dealt with. The sides of the turret are weaker, of course, 90mm here and 126 there, so you can pen it there. Side of the tank 90, so it is consistent though. Rear of the tank is weak at 45. Top deck is 15 and 35 on top of the turret. That's not bad. So you do have protection from artillery on the top of the turret, from some artillery, but the top deck is pretty weak, and it's a little bit of the front deck's 30 as well. So really it's only if artillery hits the rear deck that you're in big trouble. But mostly you're pretty well sheltered from artillery in this tank if it hits you frontally or side on at all. Alright. Alright, so the nuclear strategist is in his T-54 Mod 1, which is nicely camouflaged. He's in a platoon with a friend, Bushy Boy. Now, Bushy Boy is in a T-32, and they will be working together. The Type 4 Heavy on their team just says he's having his first game in this bad boy. Well, I can tell you, my friend, in your Type 4, expect to get pelted with gold, because as soon as you go out in a Type 54, that's pretty much what in a Type 4, that's pretty much what happens. Alright, so we're on Lakeville, and he's not top tier, he's tier 9, and this is a very weird game. Now, the nuclear strategist sends me quite a few games in premium tanks for me to check out, which is great. I really appreciate it. And he normally plays really well, and he plays pretty well in this game too. But he does a few things in this game which, to me, are inexplicable and or really weird. And I mean, I'm sure I do weird things too. But anyway, that was a fantastic clutch shot on that M41. That was great, really good shot. So yeah, that shows you look, a bit of luck in that, but also skill, of course. So he sent me 2 replays. The other replay was good, solid gameplay by the nuclear strategist. It wasn't a great game. It did show a bit of bouncing and stuff like that of the tank, but this game is a really interesting game, so I thought I'd show you this one. But this one, like I said, there's some weird gameplay. I'll point it out, and I guess it's something too that can happen to all of us at times, but maybe we don't realise it. So please. I'm not going to pick on him because I'm sure I do it too, but it's interesting, and it makes me ask the question, do I do this too? It's that kind of a thing. So I'll point to it when it happens. So I normally hide, if I'm a scout, I normally hide out there about where he was pointing, across the other side of the river, and I sometimes spot people this far away, sometimes I don't. Now, I don't know if they have sixth sense or not. I assume they do. So he doesn't appear to be spotted at the moment. The WZ on the team has got a fairly advanced position there. Alright, someone's finally been spotted in town. And look at the strategist decides to move up here. And he's got a shot on the Type 4 Heavy here. He fires a shot which he bounces. And he now decides to load a premium round, and this is what I mean. If you're a Type 4, everybody just loads gold. And really, you didn't need gold on the side of a Type 4 Heavy. It is so annoying driving the Type 4 Heavy on blasting with gold, but anyway, when they don't need to. He's gone back to standard shells now, so he kind of ended up wasting the shell anyway on a Lorraine, which he could have, he could penetrate with a rolled up sock. Type 59 enemy team has gone into a really silly position and got himself hit. Who would expose themselves to Lake Road here? That's a really bad decision. Had an orange indicator there, but he got a little bit lucky perhaps and got through the lower plate there. And that's what I mean about the gold on a Type 4 Heavy. That was a more difficult shot than the shot on the Type 4 Heavy, but didn't switch to gold for that guy. So anyway. So here we go, there's a VK on the enemy team who just bounced off us, by the way, for 440, so didn't pen, and nuclear strategist fires a shot there which going to have a hard time penning the lower plate of a VK. T-49 here though could get hit, and I think from the look of him struggling there with his gun elevation, I think he's got his tracks up on a bit of a hill. Yeah, he has, and he's struggling to elevate the gun enough. I did say that it has 17 degrees of elevation. Isn't great. A lot of the mediums don't have great gun elevation, but definitely he struggled there and couldn't get a shot on that guy, which is costly because scouts are pretty dangerous on this map. So he's being fairly cautious. The VK's been spotted again. Popping out here, no chance of penning this guy. Don't know why he fired that. Maybe he's going for a tracking shot, but really he's just getting himself spotted. And now the T-49 goes past. And he can't shoot the T-49 because he wasn't loaded. Now we've got an SU-101's coming out in the open, and he can't shoot that because he's just wasted his shot on the VK. Now we can see here, did you see that? Moving across the bottom was an M4A1. He ignored the M4A1 to have another shot at the VK. Now we can see there the Centurion is maybe about to pass in front as well. He's going for the VK again, shoots and bounces of course. Maybe he's trying to track it, I'm not sure. And there goes the Centurion now, right under his nose. Free shot into that Centurion. He's finally now switching targets. So I reckon he's missed at least 2 opportunities there to pen other tanks because he was fixated on this VK, which he's probably not going to pen in a million years on that angle. So that's odd. Really odd. But it happens to all of us. Well, maybe it doesn't. I'm just wondering, does it happen to all of us? Do you do that? Do I do that? I don't know. Maybe I do sometimes. Now he's going for a definite tracking shot, and he does actually track him that time. Hopefully artillery will hit him or something, he'll get some assist damage. But yeah, I just thought that was really odd play. Now maybe the nuclear strategist can put in comments here that maybe he had a really good reason for doing that. And whoops, his teammate backs in and bumps him there, and he doesn't get his shot. And here we go. ISU probably actually, when he knocked him, he didn't shoot. Probably saved his life because he was loaded and ready to go on the ISU. Now he blocked the ISU shot there, 750 damage. So that just goes to show you how good the armour is on this tank to block an ISU 152. So that ISU is a tier 8 tank destroyer. It was firing standard rounds, but even so. Now artillery on their team, I would say, has relocated and has just got a hit on us, or a splash. Only did 48 damage. Going for the lower plate there, and it bounced. Fairly good armour. Like I say, gold for the Type 4, but not for any of these guys. Oh, he's loading gold round now. His gun was destroyed by that VK, but it did no damage to the tank. Only destroyed the gun, but the gun blocked the shot. Now, our teammate, Bushy Boy, has unfortunately died. Bushy Boy seems to be a pretty good player. He also had a T-54 Mod 1 in the last game, and he did quite well in it. But he's dead on this occasion. So, artillery has zeroed in on our hero here, and he spotted the artillery, or someone spotted the artillery. So, it looked like he realised he had a premium shell loaded and decided to switch to AP. And basically missed his shot on artillery there. That was the second weird thing that he's done in this game. Takes a blind shot there because the guy disappeared just for a shot, and looks like it was a miss. So yeah, two weird things. One thing was getting fixated on the VK and then missing and not shooting the other tanks when they went past. And that shot deciding to reload as he was about to basically fire. I guess didn't want to spend the money on the round. I don't know. Anyway, just seemed a bit odd. So 4 tanks left on our team, and the enemy team has 5. They have some pretty good tanks on their team too. Centurion 5-1, the VK, T-54 Mod 1, SU-101. So yeah, bit of a worry. We do have our tier 9 AMX 5120 on our team though. He's on about 60% health, I think. Artie, he's making a move, and the nuclear strategist asks the artillery to halt. I think he wants everyone to stay together, which kind of makes sense in a way because they've got some good medium tanks on their team, and they'll have good view range. So he probably doesn't want his teammates to get isolated and picked off. Really unusual position he's staying here. I would probably like try and find a bush to hide behind to do the spotting, but oh, is that Centurion going to... Are we going to get a shot at him or not here? It's behind that rock. Our AMX is spotting him, obviously, but I think he has got a shot into our AMX already. Ooh. Nice. So it looks like the AMX might have been AMX, or might have been our artillery that hit the guy, and then the nuclear strategist was able to finish him off. So that's evened things up, 4 against 4 now. And the nuclear strategist saying in the comments, hold your positions, do not advance. And we've got the T-54 Mod 1, the other team has been spotted now on the Lake Road. Hopefully our artillery can... No, our artillery won't be able to get a shot at him in the position he's in. Looks like our artillery has decided to move back to where he was before. AMX 5120 is reloading his magazine, and he's just said he's ready to fire. So he's doing a good job. He's letting people know when he's reloading and when he's ready to fire. And the team has come down the valley. So we've got the M1A4, who was in the town before, so he's come all the way back around. Artillery manages to maneuver out of the way. Clever move by artillery. And we get a shot into him, and he bounces off us. Now, we're in a good position here because we've got a strong turret and hull. We probably don't want to expose our lower plate. He comes up a little bit higher than I would have liked there and does cop a shot. I assume it's in his lower plate. We get one back. He's angled very well, but I don't know about his positioning really. And we cop another shot. So we get 2 hits there. 367 and 390. Gee, that thing does a lot of damage. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't stay back sort of partially covered and maybe just expose the turret. He might have been worried about getting hit by enemy artillery in the back and wanted the the protection of that rock. That could explain what the nuclear strategist was up to there. I'm not sure of his thinking on that. He generally plays well though, so I'm sure he probably did have a reason why he did it that way. And it looked like, I think the artillery got the actual kill on that M1A4. So once again, he's saying to his teammates, just hold, don't push. Not sure what this Jag Panther here is doing. I don't know. Okay, I think he's trying to make a decision. I think he's saying, look, the valley is where they're going to come from, so I don't want to have my back. I think what the Jag Panther was deciding was, if you're going to face the valley, the lake road, then I'm going to face the valley. If you're going to face the valley, I'm going to face the lake road. I think that's what he was trying to convey there by sort of moving back and forwards. Oh, misses his chance for a shot there and derps it into the soil. Missed his chance again. He had a green indicator, but managed to get into the lower plate. Okay, I'll shut up. You know what you're doing. And SU-101 hasn't got the gun depression and has to come over the hill. Is he going to go for a tracking shot? He hits him in the lower plate. I think he actually might have been going for the tracking shot though. Or maybe he did track him. Another one in the back, and bye-bye. Ably assisted there. I think the AMX 5100 might have got the finishing shot on that, did he? He's now come around to assist. And the AMX 5100 is now going up the lake road where the T-54 Mod 1 was last spotted. He can probably out DPM him. Well, if he's got a full gun. I'm not sure if the T-54 is on partial health or not. And, whoa! The AMX just exploded. Hang on. Oh shit, LMAO from the T-32, Bushy Boy. I don't know if he exploded or whether he ran off the road into the lake by accident. Okay, so the nuclear strategist has asked the Jag Panther to defend their cap, which makes sense, while he proceeds to the enemy cap. Now, I don't think he's got time to cap. Let's see. So it's going to take him 1 minute and 38 to cap, and the game ends in 1 minute and 2, so he cannot cap. If I was the enemy tank, I'd be heading to the... I wouldn't have done what this guy's doing now. Oh, he's penetrated us though. Good shot, and we missed, I think. Reloading, reloading. And he gets that one in. Good shot, and is now positioning himself behind this tank. Good move. Yeah, if I was that enemy tank, I would have gone to our cap instead. I thought he was going to drive past him, side on there, but he goes face to face. Got his gun lowered, aimed at lower plate. And I don't know if this guy's had his gun damaged. No, he does fire, but misses. Very good play there. The nuclear strategist angled his tank just as the other guy was about to fire. That may have caused the bounce. Anyway, they got the win. Okay, so high caliber and Confederate was a class 2 in the tank. Now, hit a lot of tanks, as you can see here. Hit a lot of tanks, and bounced a lot of damage as well. Let's have a look more at the team score. So Finished on top for his team with 1,407 XP. That is huge. 4 kills. How did Bushy Boy finish on bottom with no damage? Well, he played. I saw him play the last game. He played quite well, so he's a reasonable player. I think it was a really bad position for a heavy tank to be in, but anyway, 1,407 XP is a class 2 in this tank. So that tells you right away that there's people having absolute monster games in this tank. That's incredible, actually. How did that Type 4 Heavy do? Said it was his first game in the tank. He did 497 damage. Yeah, okay. It is a tough tank when you're not used to it, that one. So, detailed report. 35 shots fired, 29 hit accuracy, not bad considering some of the clutch shots and long range shots he was doing. 29, 19 pens out of 29, but really wasted a lot of shots on that VK and did try and track it as well. And so you could probably say the penetration is better than what it shows there. Damage 4272 is really good for tier 8 medium, I think. Only about a third of it was long range. Blocked by armor 2270 is pretty amazing considering the amount of action that he saw. 11 tanks damage, 4 destroyed, and only a little bit of assistance damage, 343. So yeah, there you go. It was a very interesting game. I hope you thought it was interesting. I thought it was really interesting. 114,000 credits earned and 59,000 credit profit. So a fair bit spent on ammunition. Most of it though was standard ammunition. I think he only fired 2 premium rounds. One of the conditions on me accepting replays is generally only premium tanks, and generally you have to fire a maximum of 3 premium rounds. I think he only fired 2, but he fired so much standard ammunition, 35 rounds, that it still costs a lot of money. Good game though. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Thank you for watching my review of the T-54 Mod 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to Reginaldesq and have fun. Hello and... What was that?